Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the workshop. Oh, I apologize. We were going to start this meeting with the Board of Social Services, so would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. As stated previously, we are conducting Board of Social Services today, so with that, go ahead.
Thanks. Good afternoon. Do you guys want to review the financials and approve them?
I've looked at them all.
Oh, I have.
Have you looked at them? So then
Yes.
you can move that forward.
I would so move we approve the minutes from December 22nd, 2025, or excuse me, January 26th. We'll get it right yet. January 26th, 2026. And also the financials in the amount of $1,596,363.59. We'll see if we can't mess it up a little bit more.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the records of proceedings for the social services for January 2026 and the financials in the amount of $1,596,363.59. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So your financials and your minutes are approved. Update.
Excellent, thank you. A couple updates. I wanted to share out, we did have a senior services volunteer celebration, which just celebrates the volunteers that work in senior services throughout the year, doing a variety of things, delivering home meals, helping cook, helping serve, helping get people prescriptions, connecting with resources, just a really wide, big, broad volunteers. I wanted to share with you that we had on paper 6,889 and a half hours volunteered last calendar year, which is over 100,000 if we looked at it in kind, which is a really big deal. It was very incredible. It was really fun. I think a lot of them had a great time and were happy to be honored, and they got to eat lunch, and we gave out some awards with a superhero theme. It was a really nice event that I think went really well. On that same note, over the last 12 months, I'm doing annual reports, a ton of them right now, and wanted to let you know we had over 23,000 hard services provided at senior services last year. So that's touches that we can count: chores, home delivered meals, congregate care, connections with Medicare providers, which was about 5,000 more than the year before. And we served in 113 additional unique individuals to make it 519 folks served through senior services, unduplicated. So we're seeing lots of increases and lots of higher use, which is really great. It was really a good year for us. So that's what's cracking in the senior services world. I recently reapplied for the AAA carryover funding, and we're still waiting to hear from the AAA on that. But hopefully that will be before the new fiscal year starts. And you guys will have those contracts probably in May to look at, to review and sign. MoCo continues to plug along. We continue to have some staffing turnover over there. We had a new dispatcher start today, which is really exciting. So hopefully that can even out. Over the last quarter, so October, November, December, we provided 12,787 revenue miles. We served 2,038 clients. So did a lot over the last quarter. And then all things social services, we've been really busy in social services realm with the districting proposal that's consumed a ton of my time. They have the shared services RFP will come down from HICPUF probably this month in March, and those are specific to the call center, scanning, fraud, and one other one, can't remember. But those are all coming down the pike. They're going to start with the call center first. And then we talked about last month, the counties were getting together to create an alternative proposal to districting. We have done that. It's called Counties for Colorado. That was submitted at the end of January to the governor's office. The governor's office did ask some questions of county directors. We are compiling that information. It's due at the end of today, so we'll be able to provide that back to the governor's office. Both HICPUF and CDHF have been silent on what that looks like for them as far as our counter proposal. That counter proposal met many of the same needs the state wanted, but did it really with the use of performance-based contracts as the mechanism for oversight and accountability.
So let me ask you a question there, because they were going to change it to 11 hubs. Is that, or maybe I just don't remember, is that still kind of the same plan, or is it totally different?
So our counter
For
offer?
Your counter offer.
So our counter offer is still going to allow there to be regions,
Yep.
because the state was very clear they don't want to work with 64 counties. It's a
Right.
lot. And so we're still going to have regions, and then every 2 years elect one of the counties within that region to be the state point of contact. We have some mechanisms through the Colorado Directors Association where we already have an executive committee serving in some of those capacities, and so we felt like we have that mechanism. We can use that to delegate folks from each region to go be the state liaison, in essence.
Do you have a number, or can you?
It would still be 11, so we
Still be
aligned it with 11. But as far as county directors, we talked about we don't have to be neighbors to be in the same region. So I know a lot of the discussion originally when they looked at that map was who was close. We as directors just really said who wants to work with who. Some counties already have some IGAs in place with counties that aren't their neighbors, but they really work together. And we felt like if there's something already working, why would we eliminate that when some counties are already utilizing those services through those interagency IGAs agreements, intergovernment agreements.
Okay.
Yeah.
More to come.
Yeah, more to come. Everything keeps trucking along. I would say the JBC also didn't vote. They are holding the districting proposal, hoping that the state and counties can continue to work together. So there was no vote on BA3 that was in front of them. Over the last month, I did meet with the Four Corners Child Advocacy Center and United Health. They have a SANE nurse on staff, which is really exciting. So any sexual assaults, specifically for child victims, it can be done over there. It's a really, really wonderful upgrade than having to use emergency services for those types of resources. So that's really exciting for our community. Child welfare has been really, really busy and is also taking up a lot of our time. So we continue to plug along there. But above and beyond that, business as usual.
Very good.
Let's talk about the non-discrimination notice. So this is a public notice that has to be approved by the county because it's the county's non-discrimination policy. This is required by HICPUF, and it has to be posted in all visible lobbies and areas. We didn't have one, so I developed this one. This came to my attention through the management evaluation that it had to be done.
Did you look this over at all, Stephen, or?
Yeah, Kelly sent it to me maybe about a week ago or so. And I looked over it. Seems to meet the requirements for what we need to do.
Okay, so you just need approval of the non-discrimination policy?
Yep, yes.
I move we approve the non-discrimination policy for Department of Social Services.
Second.
Then moved and seconded to accept the Department of Social Services non-discrimination policy as presented. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Great. The next document we have is the ADA Demand Response Compliance Plan. This plan is a requirement for CDOT, Colorado Department of Transportation, and the Federal Transportation Administration, FTA. Ours was old and it just didn't meet all the updated criteria. It has been polished to provide a ton more information. And I embedded within it our limited English proficiency plan, which is also a mandate from the state. So you'll see that requires an additional signature after number 19 within there, Commissioner Candelaria. This was also sent to Stephen probably a month ago. I think I sent this one a while ago. But this just provides the requirements as well as a complaint form. Once approved, both the policy and the complaint form will be made available on the website and to every rider in our vehicles.
Okay. I really don't have any question. I know that all of everything out there that we have and or do is ADA compliant.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is there any,
Yeah, I think it's really just that there is another explicit requirement for postings of some of this information. And so we just want to make sure the stuff we've got on the books speaks to what our requirements are, and that, I think you mentioned, Kelly, that this was kind of an update to just,
yeah.
Making sure we're working with the right current information.
Yeah, a lot of the old ones had Clint still as the contact. So they were just very, very old.
Okay. Question?
No.
Okay.
I would so move we approve the Montezuma County Public Transportation ADA Demand Response Compliance Plan with the complaint form attached.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the Montezuma County Public Transportation ADA Demand Response Compliance Form. And are you gonna, and along with the complaint form attached? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Then we're looking at the Title VI policy.
Yes, and so this is our discrimination policy also for MoCo. It's required by CDOT and FTA. Ours was out of date and our complaint form needed some revisions. I did send this off to Stephen last week, I think. But this is the final document, I think, that needed updates for MoCo in particular.
Questions?
No.
Okay.
So move we approve Title VI program for the Montezuma County Public Transportation with the attached complaint form.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the Montezuma County Public Transportation Title VI program along with the complaint form. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That's all you have? Anything else?
That's it for me.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. All right. Now we're going to move on to our workshop. First up, we have our landfill. Oh, yeah.
I
Go
move
ahead.
we adjourn the Board of Social Services for Montezuma County.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn the Board of Social Services for Montezuma County. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, now we're going to move into our workshop. Mel, come on down.
All right, you should have 3 bids for a grapple. This is for the new loader that we purchased from CAT. Four Rivers and CAT quoted the same grapple.
Okay.
They're 5 to 6 weeks out, which is, the CAT grapple that we were looking at was 18 weeks out, and it was more money than these. This is probably a more useful bucket for us because it's not all one piece in the top, it's 2 pieces for grabbing odd-shaped items. This is gonna help us sort metals and wood out of our construction pit for recycling, which will help free up some space. Tires, limbs, shredder, a lot of things we need it for.
So your recommendation, do you have a recommendation with it? Or are we just
Four
looking at
Rivers.
the Four Rivers
Mhm.
at the 29,000?
Yep.
Basically just under the 30,000, okay. They were pretty close.
They are,
Same,
yeah,
same implement,
yeah. They are.
okay. Questions?
No.
Okay. Okay,
And while
That's
I'm here, I
easy.
figured I'd go ahead and give you an update instead of coming back next week,
Sure.
okay?
Is that all right with you?
yeah, absolutely. You can,
So I've been working with Phaedra on the Circular Action Alliance funding for the recyclables. That's an ongoing process. I'm also trying to fill out an application for the capacity building grant for the building, which that's quite a bit more complicated. I have to get an application sent to them. They'll review that and decide whether they want to invite us to come talk to them about getting this building put up. So it's a long process, and I'm meeting with the engineer this week to kind of look at where we're gonna put the building and get a rough idea on cement and structure for that, so I can get some kind of a cost to put in this application for them. So we'll see what happens with that.
it's been a long time since I've seen that size. It's like,
It's
5,000?
80 by 100. It's about the same size as our tip floor, but only longer.
yeah,
It's gonna be about the same height and generally look very similar to what we have, except it'll just be 2 truck bays on each side, a tip floor in the middle that's raised, where we can take the loader and dump into walking floor semi-trucks for the
Okay.
single stream. That's what it's for.
okay.
Rule 31 passed. I don't know if y'all knew that. So us, with a coalition of other landfills, helped a lot. They've got it to a point where we can at least work with it. We have 3 years to comply with the design and the operation of the monitoring. And right now, we'll be at 100-foot spacing for our monitoring unless we hit one of their thresholds. Then we'll move to a 25-foot if we can't correct that high reading. The other thing we just did was the tier 2 testing, which is gonna give us a great example of what the methane content is in the landfill. I haven't got the results back from that. That's a long process to go through the engineer and then send the reports to the state. But that was a 5-year test. And with Rule 31 going into place, we gotta do that every 3 years now. And it's about $50,000, $60,000 each time we do it. That's where we're at right now.
So at the bare minimum, because they raised that testing process to 3 years instead of 5, it's almost gonna double that cost of testing for us at the bare minimum.
Correct.
Okay, so do you have any kind of an idea what that's gonna increase the landfill costs for the tipping fees? Any kind of an idea? It may not be
You
able
know,
to
we
answer
raised the
that.
prices to 5% this year. When I get a plan from our engineering consulting firm, I can kind of figure out what all this is gonna, because that's all gonna tie into this Rule 31. And I can get a lot better estimate on what it's gonna cost to comply with this. I don't see a massive increase in landfill tipping fees by any means, unless we trigger one of those methane detection limits, which we are trying to put more soil down so we don't have any detection. So that's kind of where we're at. We're gonna put another foot of soil over the holding area and keep an eye on it as best we can.
Okay,
So until I get a plan from them on what that's gonna entail, because all the reports, all the extra testing, I don't know yet. But I don't see a huge increase by any means in tipping fees,
okay,
at least not right now.
good. Unless we hit a trigger point to move our monitoring system to 25 feet.
And I'm trying to do everything in my power to stop us ever even triggering one of those. We're a small landfill, it's dry.
Mhm.
And the more stuff I can get diverted out of there, the better. There's a local guy that wants to start up a food collection business, waste food collection, to bring to us for the compost, so that'll help a lot. So, things are kind of moving forward in that aspect.
Okay. Questions?
No. Thank you, Mel, for what you're doing.
All right. We'll approve that tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Mel. All right, next up, Road and Bridge. Update.
Afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon,
Howdy.
sir.
So, we did find a class to send guys to become trainers for our flagging. I don't know if I told you guys that or not, but we did find that. We have an LTAP class scheduled for March 26th, which is gonna include signing, pavement markings, and the MUTCU book on that. We had our, discussion this morning. I'm trying to think what else we need to talk about here. I get them confused. By the time we go this morning and this afternoon, I keep,
There's a couple of things that we talked about. One, we're still looking for, we need to hire a mechanic.
yes, our mechanic, we're looking for a mechanic.
So we actually did have that conversation when we got back with HR. So make sure you get with HR before you leave to make sure we get those platforms so that
Right.
we get a
Right.
broader net cast to make
Right.
sure that we find a mechanic. Because we're short a position right now. We still have 2 other positions that we're working on filling for operators and drivers.
Right,
We do have all of our tanker endorsements completed except for 2.
one.
Oh, 1? So somebody
One.
else got
Yes,
one in today?
Yes, they did it today.
So,
So we got one guy that hasn't got his, and he was sick today, so he may have got his, I don't know.
Yeah.
So
all
we're
of
down
our,
to one guy out of, what do we have, 11 when we started?
yep, all of our
So-
drivers are now DOT compliant as far as their classification for the tankers for the water trucks. So they all have a Class N license, so
It's a
that
Class
compliance is
A
good.
with the N
An
endorsement.
endorsement, yeah.
Yes.
We did an analysis of all the material that we have in our pit stockpiled, and we also asked for the next 2 weeks to have a somewhat of a projection of quantities of material that we might need for shouldering or for any roads that need to be repaired. We also talked about, hopefully in the next 2 weeks, by our next 2-week meeting, that we will have the nozzles purchased so that we can start
Actually,
our,
I think Cole got those ordered today,
okay, good.
so we should have them in, 3 to 5 days.
So that we have our applicators and application rates proper with the proper nozzles for our magnesium chloride that we spray on our roads.
Everything
Before-
we need for those should be here next week, so, just to build the sprayer. So we should have some pictures of that for you guys next week, by the end of next week.
We do have a meeting set for Wednesday with Bechtel Engineering to
Bechtel is
discuss our
Wednesday.
184 County Road 25 project. So we do have everything signed with CDOT now as far as our access permits, so we should be 100% ready to go to add.
And hopefully Wednesday, we should be able to go, after our Wednesday meeting, we should be able to go to ad for that.
So that we can find a contractor to get that done this year. We do have our all of our testing done at the Hay Camp pit so that we have our, so that we know that all of our material
Our
meets a
Class
Class
6.
6 spec.
Class 6 is good there.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta retest our Class 2 stuff,
Yep.
and then we'll
And-
get that done this week. We'll get some samples this week and get them sent off. We should hear back with them within the next week or so,
Right.
after I get them sent off, so,
Right.
yeah.
It was brought up in the safety meeting this morning. We have had, and I've already let the other commissioners know, but I'll just let the public know that we will create, not necessarily a policy, but a guideline for road and bridge for backing. First movement is always forward. We did have another backing incident out there, and/or you have to have a spotter anytime you back up. But as usual, your first movement is always forward, and that's what happened. We had an issue out there, but we're working to correct it. The safety issue concerns on the other issues have already been corrected, and things are moving forward.
Moving forward, good. Do you guys want to do the RFP now or later?
Is it on here anywhere else? Oh, we can do it now.
So we sent this over to Stefan here a week ago, 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. He looked over. I didn't hear anything. Everything looks good. This oil is kind of a specialty oil, so we probably won't get a lot of bids for it. But it's the oil that we've had the best luck with in the past 10 years. So that's why we're trying to stick with this oil, just so you guys know. You guys got any questions about it?
My only question, and I asked them, it's not a sole source because there are other people that supply this kind of oil for our
Right.
chips. So we're not trying to circumvent the procurement policy or anything like that. It's this type of oil that we really want to
That's-
use
yeah,
for
it's
the
just-
rock that we have in our pits.
Yeah, it works the best.
So I don't have any issues with it. We are projecting 14 to 16 miles of chip seal that we're going to do this year.
Yeah, 14 to 16 and a half, actually. If we could get the 16 and a half it would finish everything up south of town G over in Mancus, 25 to the landfill, that little stretch that we didn't get last year. Get that all tied in, and yeah, it would be 16 and a half miles. Of course, we can change it to take 2.5 miles out of that and push the stuff to Mancus till next year, or however we see fit, whatever they come in with the price. So on this, I put 16 and a half, hoping we can get that much. We may have to cut the other 2.5 miles, depending on their price.
Any questions at all, Stephen?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. Well, we'll approve this for tomorrow, but it looks good.
Okay. We're moving forward, and everything looks good out there.
Thanks, Heath.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you, Heath. All right. Next up is 12 hours of Mesa Verde.
I'm going to be the introducer because I'm not the important player here.
It's not true.
My name's Cap Allen. I have with me Chris White, who's a real important player in the local BMX program we have in town, which is a great feeder to the mountain bike kids in town. And we have the boss of the whole thing, who's Danny
Not the
Gregory.
boss.
We come here every year to confirm that we can, during the 12 Hours of Mesa Verde event, give away free beer on the back of your liquor license. It's been a requirement, is my understanding, every year that we make this request, because it's not a blanket forever approval. We've handled it very well I think we've probably done it for more than 10 years now. And it hasn't caused any problems. Even though the quantities that were given for free by the makers of the beer look rather large, when you're talking about 950 very thirsty racers at the end of a race, there's not much opportunity for any one individual to take too much advantage of the situation. So it's always worked out very well. But we need your approval for that. But also this time, it's always nice to just thank the commissioners for having the facility out there you have, which is really a perfect storm. That tunnel under the highway and the facility and the mountain bike track right to the north doesn't really exist in that form anywhere else. And we're really thankful for it, and we're glad the county can be players in this. Danny might want to talk a little bit about how long we've been doing this and what we've been able to do for the community and that kind of thing.
So this year will be our 20th 12-hour event. So we're pretty excited about that. We were under Montezuma County Partners, not associated with the county, but that was an organization kind of similar to a Big Brother, Big Sister for the first few years. And then since 2012, we've been our own nonprofit entity. And so just to give you guys an idea, I noticed in your, when you had your Board of Social Services update, they mentioned the Four Corners Child Advocacy Center. And since 2012, obviously the reason why we have this event is to raise funds to give it back to organizations, services that benefit kids in our community. A lot of those kids are at-risk youth, not all of them, but there is a focus on that. And to put that into perspective, from 2012 to 2025, we've given over $250,000 to Four Corners Child Advocacy Center alone. So we're hoping to hit $1 million and give back this year. So it's, we all volunteer, lots of hours, and we bring people in from outside of, there's a big contingency that comes from within the Four Corners, but we bring a bunch of folks in from outside of the Four Corners that may not otherwise come here. I mean, Phil's World is a great trail, but the idea is to get them here to help support our events so that we can give these funds back to these different various programs. And then also to shine a light on our community and how special it is and the different things that we have to offer. So as Cap said, we come here so that we can hopefully, starting at 6 p.m., hand a beer out to a racer that wants one, or we also usually, Coca-Cola is also there to help offset that as well, and we have food vendors there. But also just to kind of let you guys know what we're up to, why we're doing it, and how we're doing it.
Okay, Chris, want to add anything?
No, I've only been part of the board for 3 years now, and being a part of it and starting to see the insides of it and what they have done in the last 20 years is what makes it a good thing for me and my family to be a part of. And so it's awesome to be a part of a county and a community that is looking out for the youth. And me being a part of the BMX track as well, I'm always reaching out for the youth and trying to get them out on their bikes and doing something. So it's been a great thing for my family to be a part of this.
Good. Well, I appreciate all of you guys and the hard work that you do. Obviously, I see it. I go out there. I participate in it sometimes, not all the time, as far as a rider, but I do participate in it every year just being out there. And I see what goes on, and I see what happens out there, and I do appreciate it. Specifically for the hard work that you put in for giving back all the money. I mean, that's a great, I mean.
It's a great program, really is.
It's just great. So I thank you also. Again, with the alcohol, I've never, ever seen an issue, ever. And I'm pretty much out there the entire day. So I don't have any issues with this at all, guys. We do have to, we'll make the approval tomorrow. Obviously, we can't do it in a workshop, but I don't see any issues with this at all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chris, thank you. I've got 2 BMX riders in my family.
Anything you
No, it's good.
Okay. Well, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And there's always room for a county commissioner team in the race. We want to make it clear that you're welcome. And if there is a county commissioner team, we like to brag about you during the race, so.
I know we could probably get 1 or 2, or maybe 3, 4, I don't know. We've done it in the past.
You have.
Thank you all. All right, Travis, we have an update to the procurement policy.
Once I get it to load here.
Travis and Steven, this is a double team here.
Commissioners, this actually kind of come forward because Social Services needs a updated policy for their purposes every 3 years for their procurement. And then we also made some additions for emergency management to comply with EMPG. So, and we actually, instead of it being guidance, it's now going to be a policy. There was some cleanup done. We added some, basically added some purchasing threshold language, as well as cleaned up some grammar. So it's very similar to this last one that we had,
Yeah.
other than it's cleaned up, and it's going to comply with social services and Mr. Sproutlin.
Okay. Follow up?
Yeah, I don't have too much to add, Commissioners. I wasn't as involved in the original recalibration. I think I looked over it kind of after it had been drafted with the changes in mind. So I maybe provided some light edits. So I don't have too much additional to say.
Okay. Question?
No, I read this over the weekend and it looks good to me.
All right. Sounds good. Move right on. All right, James Dietrich, we have an LOS for the JBC regarding the paths to Mesa Verde. Come on down.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. So what we have before us here is a letter to the State Joint Budget Committee. The letter is focused on making a point to keep the MMOF funds that have been committed to the county in place. It sounds like there's a chance that the state may take the MMOF funding, about $70.1 million altogether, to backfill the state budget problem. So anyway, our request is just to keep the money that's already been committed to Montezuma County in place.
And like I reported the last time we met, that James and I were at the meeting for the Southwest TPR, and we were basically given another $64,000 that Dove Creek, or was it Dove Creek or Dolores County?
It was Dove Creek that gave that
Dove
money
Creek
back.
that couldn't spend 200 and some $1,000, so it was split between, I think, 5 organizations there, and we were going to be the recipient, which we can use for our engineering, and we have those needs right now. So with this being a threat, I mean, it's not well, everything could be 100% threat from the state right now because of their shortfall. So I definitely think that we should send it. I mean,
Yeah.
I think they should find other places than CDOT to cut all of their funding.
Yeah, CDOT's paying a pretty big price.
They are.
Any
Okay.
question? Nope. Okay.
Okay, thank you,
All
gentlemen.
right, thanks, James. All right, Dennis, come on down, and we'll talk about a proposal for a pay scale and classification study for all county employees.
Yeah, how's it going? So we're looking at going out for an RFP to see if we can get somebody to come in and do a complete pay study. So it would encompass the entire county. They usually take about at least 6 months-ish, depending on what all we ask them to do. It will take a lot of work between all the divisions to do a lot of things. Usually it's a lot of interviews and a lot of process to reevaluate your job description so they can actually score them to try and figure out where everybody should be. But, yeah.
So it's pretty straightforward. We've heard about this for actually quite a while now. We just
Right.
actually, again, Commissioner Lindsay and I in December heard it again from Road and Bridge Department. A lot of the disparities out there because there's actually no.
We have a lot of
movement with
compression
anything.
because we've never had a pay plan.
I know, exactly. So this will help us put forth a path forward. And then that way we have something for the entire county and not just one or the other
Right.
department.
And so, I mean, we'll have to look at, there's a lot of stuff that they're gonna have to do. There's a few things that we can do. I think it's just gonna be a discussion with them, depending on who it is and, you know, what what all they offer and how they package it out, so. I've only dealt with the hay group, so.
Yeah, I don't have any problem.
The biggest thing is it just depends on how clean your stuff is to begin with. That's the problem I ran into when I did the last one. So it took a lot of time to just clean up and get everybody to agree on what the job descriptions really are. So.
All right. Questions, Commissioner?
I haven't read all of it, so I'm,
We're not going to vote until tomorrow, but
I know.
if you
I'll be
have
back tomorrow,
questions-
so.
Before then,
Okay.
I can see a couple things I don't.
Okay. Well, we can discuss them tomorrow.
I'll bring that up tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
Good, okay.
Thank you, Dennis.
Yep.
VSO Travis.
Good afternoon. I'm here to request your approvals. When we did the budget, I had mentioned that I intended to apply for the Veterans Assistance Grant through the state of Colorado this year. That grant cycle is opened. I'll be submitting an application, if you approve, later this month. I intend to request $20,000 from the state. I have heard that I probably won't get the full amount, especially as a first-time grant applicant, but I do intend to apply for that much, and then the budget that I submitted, majority of that money, my intent is to use for fuel and food cards for veterans. Currently, the DAV and the VFW receives the VTF grant money in our county, about $160,000 between the two organizations. They spend a lot of that money on those fuel and gas cards. So if whatever I'm awarded, they can utilize the VTF grants for other items for veterans. And that's the easiest one for us to manage out of our office. Veteran comes in need, we supply them with some, a temporary way to get some fuel and food. So that's my intent.
Okay. Question?
No.
No, it's a good thing.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
We'll deal with this one tomorrow, too.
All right, thank you.
Travis. Bobby, I don't see her in here, so I'll,
She, excuse me, was in a training, so I texted her and should be coming over.
okay.
So we can move on.
We'll keep moving on then. We have a letter of intent for the Cortez Cemetery District.
Yeah.
Pull it up, Travis. And this would be to fill a 3-year position or what?
I believe the cemetery boards are 6.
Are they 6?
I think so.
I believe 6.
Okay. Is this the only one that we have?
Yes, and I think this will fill the last position. It could be
There was an open seat.
Okay. Any questions, or does anybody know?
I don't know.
I don't either. Okay, I'll try to make a phone call tomorrow. All right. We have a change order for the fairground. Justin, come on down. Sounds like we found another pipe in the way.
Yeah, we did. Of course, when we start opening things up, we're finding, stuff that might be there that we didn't know. So what happened is they dug up our septic line to replace it, and when the existing culvert crossed over that, and once upon a time in the past, they must have dug that up, and I threw a couple pictures there. And their way to fix it in the past was to put this plastic culvert kind of in between both sections of steel pipe that they cut. Over the years, that had collapsed. It was basically full of mud, so I'm a little bit surprised we were even getting any kind of drainage out of it. So what we need to do is then, you know, basically change that out to something permanent and better fix than what's there. So what the change order is about is trying to put in a 15-inch PVC pipe with no hub connections on each side and cutting out a section of that metal pipe to put it in and making sure all the compaction's, you know, perfect. That way we don't run into an issue like this in the future.
And that's gonna be all underneath the asphalt there too. So the only thing that I'm gonna
Yes.
ask is to make sure that we have some compaction tests
Okay.
specifically, so that we know we at least meet the 95%, because that is gonna be asphalted over the top of that.
Okay.
And we don't want anything to collapse. Whether we have to pay for it, that's fine.
Okay.
We can get the testing done, you know, either through the engineering companies that we have here. Just specifically, any of that we've dug up, make sure that that's
Okay.
compacted with Class 6 material, and that it's all been tested before we put any asphalt over the top of that.
Okay, I can have that done. Other than that, everything else is looking pretty good as far as that goes. The total cost on that change order is $1,949.54.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping, you know, cross our fingers, we don't run into something else. So far, everything's been good with our demo, so I'm hoping this is kind of our
Yeah, well,
only instance, but,
that is construction. You will
Yep.
run into things that you don't anticipate, and that's why we have change orders and change order forms. So
of course.
I didn't think that was a outrageous amount at all,
Okay.
so I'm good with it. Questions?
No.
Okay,
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
all right. Actually, where are they at with it then? Where are they at with the
So
project?
they got the septic line all put down. They put their base material in, all that. They've been compacting like crazy around of it. They've left a section of this open so that they can do a repair on it, waiting our authorization. So I can go ahead and have them do a soil test while they still got a little bit of their compaction test. They've done some demo work to the sidewalks. They got most of that big pad on the west side all demoed out. They got the trees demoed out. They've done a lot of the saw cutting. So here over the next couple days, most of them are gone to a conference right now this week. But they got a couple of people out there just kind of doing some cleanup right now. And then this next Monday, they'll demo out the rest of the concrete on the north side. And then they're going to start doing some cutting and forming. And hopefully not too long, we'll be doing concrete. And then the asphalt will be later on.
Did we actually get a schedule from them when they started, or when they think they'll be substantially completed?
So they started last Monday. That was their first day. I anticipate about a 3-week, maybe 4-week right here while we don't have anything, which is kind of the timeline I gave them, to have the concrete in. And then I'm hoping right around the middle of May, they can come back and do the asphalt. But they should have everything prepped within these next 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay,
That's kind of our timeline, to have it all done before the first week of April.
sounds good. If they have a schedule, or if they can produce a schedule, it'd be nice to have
Okay.
it so that we could post it also.
Yep, I can do that.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Is this going to interfere with any of your events?
It shouldn't.
Okay.
That was kind of the whole thing that they're working with me on, why we're doing the whole concrete part first, and then they
Right.
can kind of get away and button that up and then come back in and do the asphalt.
And we don't have an ag show this year either, so
Nope.
that's kind of a,
Yep, so it did help us
Opened
out a
up a
little bit
It
there.
opens up a month,
Yep,
basically.
it did. It opened us up a good 2 weeks. So my first event that I need that for would be that April, I think it's 8th or 10th off the top of my head, for the Home and Garden Show.
Okay.
So, yep.
The outdoor expo is what, about a week, 2
Yep,
weeks after
it's the
that?
week after that.
Okay.
So those 2 weeks. And then once we hit May, and we get 12 hours of Mesa Verde, hopefully right after that or right during that time, that's when I'm going to try to see if we can get them back in to do the asphalt.
Okay.
As long as everything falls into place. So, and then it should all be done before fair.
Well, it usually
Good.
rains around the 12 hours Mesa Verde.
Yeah, I know, we're gonna.
that's
But-
okay, we'll take that too.
Yeah, I know it. We do
We'll
have
take
about
it
3
too.
weeks right in there, though, that
Yeah.
I can get them in there, so. And I don't anticipate that part of it taking, very long, so. Everything else seems to be going pretty good with them. They've been a good company to kind of deal with and work with so far, so.
All right. Very good.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks. Next up is the parking lot engineering quality control discussion. Dustin, looks like we have a couple bids to review along with the recommendation, I'm supposing.
Good afternoon. I sent out a request for proposals or a bid to 5 different engineering firms. I received 3 back. Jones and DeMille is the one that is the engineering firm that did our assessments. And that's the low bid, and that's who I would recommend.
Did you guys have the time to evaluate them all? Did they all comply with the RFP? Everything
Yeah.
is compliant? Okay. All right. Questions?
No, it is what it is.
Questions? Okay,
No, they don't comply.
all right.
Thank you.
Very good, thank you. All right, and then we will come back to Miss Lock. I see her in the room now. We're looking at a job change and a pay scale change request.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so here's what we would like to do. Katie Maxwell was our public health planner. And since Katie resigned, we always look at jobs, positions, evaluating it, where the need is. We also have to look at funding. So this is what we wanted to do a little restructuring. So basically, Katie exited a full-time position due to the fact that a lot of the work that role did is over with our community health assessment, and we have a guide and a plan of where we're moving forward. So that part of the work is done. Funding has been cut to support a full-time position with that role. So Laurel worked with Katie on the majority of the work that was done. So Laurel's very familiar with what led up to where we are now. So what we would like to do is to take Laurel, give her a 20-hour piece, because we do have the funding to support a 20-hour public health planner position, not a 40. So Laurel would take on the 20 hours of public health, stay as the assistant director and the finance manager. With that, I would like to give her a $2 an hour raise because she is taking on the additional role of the public health planner. Also, simultaneously, Laurel has done all the finances for this department for forever and ever. And we have struggled sometimes with getting things accomplished because she's got so many different irons in the fire. So Heather, who is currently our front desk admin assistant, we would like to move her into a finance specialist / admin assistant role. So she would be removed from the front desk, do the everyday daily stuff that Laurel typically does for finance, meaning bills, balancing, credit cards, invoicing, all that stuff, with Laurel's direct oversight. It's not Heather just doing her thing. Laurel will be checking everything. And then our next check and balance is I check everything before it goes anywhere. So we have a 3-step process at that point instead of a 2-step process, which we currently have. So, and with moving Heather into that role, taking on that additional responsibility, I'd like to give her a $2 an hour raise. So, given all that, it doesn't change the overall budget at all. We have the funding to do it. It's just shifting 2 people's salary, and we're currently advertising to replace the admin assistant position that is at the front desk that Heather would be exiting. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so you lost a
Lost a
40-hour
full-time
position.
person.
You have a 20-hour position where Katie Maxwell exited.
Correct.
You're going to give duties
New
20
job
hours to
descriptions.
Laurel. You're
Mhm.
pulling away Laurel and giving it to Heather.
Mhm.
And Heather's moving from the front desk to be more of the finance
Yes.
day-to-day
Yes. Yes.
requirement.
She still will be admin assist because she's still going to help cover the front, when somebody's out sick or whatever, you know, whoever's at the front desk has to have time off or whatever. She'll still be the backup for that person. But currently, we don't have that, and we all chip in and cover the front desk when need be. I'd like to get back to where we're not all having to do that, because depending on who's taking that role, that's a very costly way to operate. You know, if you're pulling a nurse to answer the phones. So, I don't want to do that. I'd like to have an admin assist there at the front, and Heather would be that person's backup, whoever that is. So.
Correct.
So, again, no, it's just basically shifting money we already have, but the reason I'm here is because it does bump up 2 employees' salaries. So
Which we
that's
have to
why.
approve salaries.
Right. So that's why we're here. I'm here right now talking to you about that.
But it changes
So,
nothing on the bottom line.
No, no.
Question?
No. I think you'd be pretty good at 3-card money.
What?
3-card money.
Well, you know, public health all these years, you got to figure out ways to, I call it a chess game. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, moving things around to make things work and get the job done and do it right and do it well. But, you know, sometimes it does take readjustment. And Katie did an amazing job. She was a wonderful public health planner. It was a 40-hour position for the workload that she had to do. Now that workload has reduced because of the community health assessment is done. So now we just do the actual work. So we have a script, we have a game plan, if you will, and so that workload can be done within 20 hours. So again, that's what we look at every time there's a shift in employees and grant funding and everything else. So,
Funding's gone away.
yep.
Part of life.
Hang on to your socks.
Okay. If there's no questions, we'll obviously approve
Yeah.
this tomorrow.
Okay, all right, great, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, last but not least on the agenda, actually, we're doing great on time. Discussion on the potential sales tax. So, last time we talked, we were kind of looking at splitting it 50-50. So I guess that's really where we need to start. Is that still our thought process? And that was going to be 50-50 between Road and Bridge and the ESO.
And at what percentage? 1%, 1.2?
Well, we were, the percentage, well, we'll talk about that as we progress through this conversation.
Yeah.
I think we need to establish where it's going to go first, and then we'll establish the percentage.
Any thoughts on, refresh me, what would 1% generate, Travis? Do you know?
Based on the last assessment, it was about 8 million, a little over 8 million.
Okay.
And there again, there are a lot of places that are opening up. I mean, we're gonna have this new Maverick store up here that's gonna open up. I think there's gonna be a lot that goes in down there. There's gonna be competition down there. You know, I think we could reach that. I'm not sure we'll exceed it, but I think we could reach that, which will give us, you know, more funding for the SO and more funding for Road and Bridge.
I'm also wondering if the board might benefit ultimately from some of the information as far as community feedback that I forget the name of the firm, but
Magellan Strategies.
that Magellan Strategies is collecting.
We will, as far as their gauge on whether they support it or not, but I'm not sure about the percent. So we need to give them a percentage so they can start running numbers. So the last time we talked about this, we were doing 1%. And we only exempted, agricultural machinery.
Yeah, farm machinery.
Yeah. And I think there were 14 exemptions,
Yeah.
or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but, you know, to me, when you go back and read the and you guys may remember this, the 1997-98 comprehensive plan, it was recommended at 1%. way back then.
Yeah.
That was actually, the recommendation was to be split 50-50. I actually think after the failure of the PSST that maybe it would be better because they both are intertwined and interrelated. If you don't have good roads, we can't keep safety of even our officers and our deputies moving up and down the road. So I think that the split is I think it's a good idea. There's a lot of value in that comp plan. And my opinion is that we should stay there split, but that's open for discussion.
Oh, what proportions do you split? 50-50, 60-40?
I say you split it 50-50. Because the costs for either one of them are not going down.
No, not by any means.
And we're, we had the conversation with Road and Bridge this morning. Everybody wants to use a platform of public safety and that it's critical, and I agree with that. It is critical, but at this point in time in the era that we are in, it's hard to find people for even Road and Bridge. It's hard to find them for the SO. It's hard to find them for public health. So I think they're both equal. I think it should be 50-50. That's just my opinion. And I think that the value and the recommendation in the comp plan has a lot to do with that. And you guys might have worked on that more back in the day, but
No, we didn't work on that.
no, not that one.
Not that one.
How much does the mill levy for Road and Bridge bring in every year? Do you have it?
Come on, Chair.
Just depends on, excuse me, the assessed rates and the RARs. It fluctuates, but I guess you could look at what 1 mil brings in. I think roughly 600,000 currently.
Have you spoken with any of the municipalities in their sales tax collection? They up, down, stagnant? I mean, I haven't seen anything.
No, I did talk to Drew the other day. I think the city of Cortez might be trying to push forward on some sort of sales tax. I'm not sure what the Mancus is going to do, or Dolores.
Yeah, I mean, is there any trend going on that you know of? Are sales tax numbers up, down?
Oh, I don't know. I
I
couldn't
don't
begin
know
to tell
either.
you.
I just thought
Yeah, I don't have
somebody
access.
might know
I don't
what the
think
trend is.
well, I can't tell you what the trend is, but I can tell you, obviously, we are all aware that La Plata County just passed another 1% to add to their sales tax, because of what they had was not adequate.
Yeah.
Archuleta County has 4%, but they actually split that with the municipality, so they get 2 and 2. Montrose has a 1.75, 0.75 is to PSST, so our ask of even a minimal 1% is still, I don't want to not ask for enough, but then I don't want to ask for too much. So it's really, it's kind of like what Commissioner Copenhaver asked, what is it going to be? Well, we anticipate it to be, I would say between 7 and 8, but in reality, that could fluctuate every year. It could be
Right.
4 to, however it does help be able to move those
And
forward.
a sales tax spreads the burden out tremendously. I mean, at least as
Well,
far as I see, everybody that uses this product will share in the cost of this product. Whereas now, property taxes, the property owners are bearing the load.
correct.
And contrary to belief, we don't get to raise taxes, just got a whim.
We don't raise taxes, the people raise
No.
taxes. What's your thought on the number?
I don't know, I just think that if you're gonna split that thing, we need to look at those budgets of those two deals, cause you take that thing and split it 50-50, and all of a sudden you're putting $4 million into Road and Bridge. What's their total budget?
total
I mean, if it brought $8 million in, you're gonna put $4 million in road and bridge. He's out there. I just think, I don't know if we wanna split it like that.
I understand.
50/50?
Yeah, because the sheriff's department budget, I mean, is so much more.
Actually, I don't think it's so much
They're
more.
close.
I think they're super close. I'll tell you what it is here in just a second. So yeah, asking questions off the top of my head, I should know and I don't. I want to say they're both close to 7 million off the top of my head from the numbers that I recollect.
Six.
6 to 7, so they're pretty close.
Yeah, but the sheriff's department doesn't have a mill levy.
The sheriff's department does have a mill levy.
That LEA.
They have
Just
the
for the
LEA,
LEA,
which is the
but it doesn't.
1.46%. So their mill levy is 2.83, right, Travis? Road and Bridge? So the mill levies are not that far different. For the language, we have to have that, right, Stephen? Of whatever that split is gonna be. Go ahead, Travis.
So the mill levy for road and bridge is 2.366.
Okay.
And you had a question about budgets? Who's-
LEA is 1.45, 1.46.
1.450.
Yeah. But again, our conversation was if we're able to pass this, we give back that mill levy back to the property owners. We give back that 1.46 to the property owners. We don't collect it.
No, I agree, no 100%, but that's just in the county too, it's not in the cities and stuff.
That's just in the county. That's to the county people.
Yeah,
They're the only ones that pay the LEA.
yeah,
That's correct.
so that is gonna do a different amount than your other mill levy, because it's for everybody.
It is for everybody. Absolutely.
So it brings a different amount of money,
It will.
so there's some things we need to look at there.
Yeah.
You
Well,
see
what's
what I'm
your-
saying?
Yeah.
Because I agree, I mean, I just think, I just don't know that it needs to be 50/50. Just concerns me that we're gonna, especially if we're gonna try to give back that mill levy that the sheriff's department's getting out, because you're, I don't know how much of that we can do.
Well, I mean, the original thought process is we'll get 2 years of real data to say, okay, this year we collected this and this year we collected this. We now can afford to give back the 1.46%, or we can give back 2% of the mill levy. It doesn't mean that we're just not gonna collect it. It doesn't mean that we can't use that entire cap if it's needed. It just means that we don't have to collect it that year. So when we certify the mills, we can go up to an amount or not.
And when we reduce that thing, we gotta make sure that everybody understands that's a temporary reduction.
It's a well,
Because
it
you cannot, if
could
you
be a
reduce
temporary
it
reduction.
consistently without doing that, then
Yeah, because 1 year it could go
Tabor
back
will eat you.
to the entire
You won't be able to raise it back up.
15 mil.
Yeah, and you look what the state did with property taxes. They gave that $55,000 a year exemption for 2 years. And everybody got used to that. And then when it went away, boy.
I don't know, I'm just saying we need to look at some different levels there and see. In my mind.
Okay. And I'm fine with that. I like what the comp plan says. I like how they evaluated it. And when you read it, they are both basically at 44% of what we're spending. They're both equal. They're almost $6 to $7 million. And then we also then have the exemptions. We've looked at a lot of different counties. We've had this conversation before.
Yeah.
So I think keeping the exemptions as we last stated is fine. Or we can exempt nothing like Montrose County and I think La Plata County, but I'm okay with the exemptions that we had currently talked about too.
Yeah, we can take another look at exemptions, but I don't see us moving much.
I don't either.
Gerald, you see anything? I mean, you see movement on exemptions? Do you want to do anything else?
I don't.
Okay, I don't.
Okay, good enough. Then that one's easy. All right, so what do you need from us? Just the actual percentage and the number. So let's talk about the number. Are you guys still good with 1%? Or do you
Yeah.
want to look at a different?
I think we're better off trying to stay with 1%.
I do too.
All right. All right, 1%. So 1%, exemption's the same. And we're just undecided on the 50/50 or? Okay. So we'll have that next week. We can have that discussion. You guys do whatever research you want.
Okay.
And then we'll make that so that we can have that determination for the surveys as they start going out. Because we have to get that to them
Right.
sooner than later. All right. So 1%, the exemption's the same, and we'll discuss the 50/50 split next week. All right. Okay. Anything else?
No.
All right. Well, then, we have come to all of our items on the workshop. We'll adjourn this workshop. We'll be back here at 3:30 as the E911 board. And we'll be talking about fee increases, consoles, and dispatch. Thank you all.